Video, and today we're going to be working on the 99 GT. Now this is a vehicle that you guys have yet to see on the channel. Basically it belongs to a friend of mine, and when he originally got this, the guy said that it was a 4.6 PI swapped police interceptor motor, and it had a bunch of stuff done to it. And basically we found out that that was all a lie. Ended up running some of the codes on the engine. After driving it, it was just very underpowered. So we pretty much just assumed that he lied just to get a quick sell out of it. The car was gotten for a good enough deal to where it wasn't that big of a deal, but what ended up happening was about a month into him having it, he ended up blowing the engine. The body itself was 260 on it, but because it wasn't the original motor and he said it had a lot less miles on it, we kind of trusted the guy's word on it, and we got screwed in the end. But what we're doing now is we ended up getting him a new motor, or remanufactured motor with 127,000 miles on it, and he ended up getting PI heads, PI cams, basically everything you need for a PI swap. If you guys are familiar with it, basically what it does is it brings up the compression. If you do it to a 98 4.6 motor, it'll bring the compression up from the stock compression to, I believe it's a 10-to-1 compression. So we're basically going to start working on that. He works and I work, and our work schedules are very on and off with actually being able to work on it. So today I decided to kind of figure out what parts I need to swap from the motor that's over here back onto the new motor, see if I can make some of the original brackets work, because this motor was pretty much just yanked out of a wrecked car and then remanufactured, so a lot of the pipings that we could have used have all been cut, so I'm going to have to use the pipings that are on the other motor to make it work. I think we're going to be good, but I've been needing to get this done anyway, and I figured I'd make a video out of it. The motor we're going to be putting in the car, and you can tell that this is a GT motor, at least this is how I tell. You have the coil packs here for it. This is the motor I'm very familiar with. I've had 4 of these 4.6s, 98 GTs, also had a 96 as well, but it's the same engine. So we have this that we're going to need to figure out how to swap over, because that is a non-GT motor. It came out of a police interceptor, and I believe that with these motors, see if I can find it, the brackets that you would normally have for the actual coil packs aren't on it. At least it didn't come with this motor when we originally had it. So I gotta figure out what I need to swap over. So this tubing here, this tubing is good. This tubing's good here. A lot of the wires I had to kind of cut out because of how they were frozen up onto the block when we were originally pulling it. And if I can bring you here, this is cut. And this is still kind of good. So I need to take this piping off, put this on. These wires right here that I was just showing on that side, these have been cut, so I need to swap these over. So just a little stuff here and there, and we'll see if we can get some progress done. So since the last clip, basically the main things that I want to get swapped over to today was pretty much heater tubes, tubes in general. So this tube right here, the EGI, if I'm not mistaken. Not too familiar with Fords, I just know these 4.6s a little bit. But basically this tube right here, so this is the blown engine, but this tube was good on this engine. So I want to get this one off, and if any of you guys have had to deal with a pipe like this before, it was so rusted on there, it just made it awful to try and get off. So I ended up having to take a heater torch to expand the metal, be able to swap it over. As you can see, I was able to get that main tube off in the beginning and swap that onto right here. I was able to get that same tube off, which I put the old one in there, and get the new one, or not really the new one, but the good one, off the other engine. And I'll end up hooking this back in once I'm able to get the heads off, and I end up doing the heads for it, because that has to come off anyway. I believe there's a bracket that mounts right here. So I'll worry about getting the rest of the top end of this engine put back together when I end up swapping the heads over. Still a lot of odd and end stuff that I feel like I'm going to run into trying to put this engine back together, and one of which I didn't notice, which is going to be a really big pain in the neck. So right under here, you can see where this tube has been cut. Now again, the background to this engine was it was wrecked and then it was remanufactured. You can see right here with 127, it was a 1998 motor. So that's how we got it, and we got it for a pretty good deal. A buddy pretty much wants to do this all on a budget, which, you know, is fine. These engines aren't, you know, powerhouses or anything. But this tube being cut up under here, I believe I may be able to get it out of that case. I may not be able to though, because what I want to check is, let's see, yeah. So in here, see if I can get it, right here is where that should go. So I'm going to try in next video get that connected to there, and we should be all set. Now when I originally pulled this, this is all the wires that were going to the battery when we first pulled it out. So I need to take all that wiring, and I need to match the wires that are to this one. If not, just redo all the wiring, it may be easier. And basically either resplice them or do the wiring. That way I can have it all going to the battery, and we should be good on that end. Next I need to find out where these wires went to, so I'm going to have to cut that wiring back a little bit to see if I can find them. I'm not quite sure where these went. There are some little odd and end plugins here that I don't know quite where they came out of. But the next big thing is going to be this AC pump. Now on the original engine that we pulled out, this bolt was so stripped, it almost seemed like from the last person that did it, they already tried to attempt to pull this out. So I need to get this off and either switch this entire unit over, at least that was the original thinking. Until when I start to look at it, unless I can get these pipings and these pipe connectors off, which I highly doubt it, I won't be able to do that. As you can see, I had to pretty much butcher the original one, sadly, because of how much the nut was stripped. I ended up having to take a small grinder. It took me like an hour to try and grind it off. It was a horror show, especially with the angle it was at. Which, that wouldn't have been an issue, except when it came off, and it's my stupid mistake, but this hole right here got collapsed. So see how open that one is, and this one got collapsed? What I'm going to try and do is open this one up to at least match this a little bit. That way I can take this one off and get rid of all this, because there's pretty much no way I can grab it out. I believe you need some type of special tool for it, and basically swap them. That way everything's plug and play. When I originally took the first engine out, I really took my time making sure that every connector was unhooked, every single part was unscrewed where it needed to be. This is my first time doing a 4.6 swap. I've done a lot of small block Chevy swaps, but this is the first time doing anything new like this, so it's definitely out of my realm. But I was able to label everything, took a lot of pictures of it, so when I put it together, I feel pretty confident being able to get it back. The other thing is, this transmission, I don't quite trust it. The person we got it from said there was a shift kit in it, and I don't really buy that because they lied about the engine. So this engine came with the same transmission as well, so they both have 127 on it, and I figured it'd be better to swap both of them in. Since they both have the same amount of miles, we know where it came from, and hopefully we'll be able to get that set up. So that's going to be another video entirely, getting that transmission out and then connecting that one to the engine, but that's still about a week or two away. So that's the update. Enjoying these videos. I'm trying to get more of them out. It's a little bit hard trying to find multiple things to work on that you guys are actually going to enjoy. I still have the motorcycle that I'm working on, trying to get that going. Hopefully that'll be running in about 2 to 3 weeks. Good chance I'm going to have to do a ring job on it, so that'll be another 2-3 videos just working on that alone. But the main project is going to be working on this 76 Camaro. Now, I've not done a lot of videos on it recently, but I ended up getting a 4-speed setup on it. I already gutted the interior again. I want to redo that while everything's pretty much not working on it. So, when we get that going, see if I can, give me 1 second. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to save that for the next video. But yeah, we'll end up working on the 76 pretty soon, doing the 4-speed setup on that. I'll try and get as much of it as possible. And once this thing's going, guys, I know a lot of car meets that are starting to go on, a lot of different car shows, and we'll be able to vlog a lot of that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. But until then, I'm going to still try and work on this and find time for the videos. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. Please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps it out, guys. And let's try and get this channel to 100 subscribers.